You are exhausted because your mind never stops being loud. You try to stay strong, but every day feels like someone is draining your energy dry. You want peace, but peace slips out of your hands the moment you open your eyes in the morning. And you already know this. It is not because you are weak. It is because you have not learned how to protect your energy like a Stoic warrior. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The problem is not that life is too chaotic. The problem is that you have not claimed authority over your own mind. Take a moment to face one truth. You are giving away too much to meaningless conversations, to expectations other people place on you, to emotions that are not worth carrying around all day. In 60 minutes, which is about 1 hour, you will step into 7 of the most ruthless Stoic rules not meant for people who want comfort, but for people who want sovereignty over their lives, for people who choose discipline over ease, for people who choose steadiness over being liked, for people who choose peace, not distraction. And here's the first micro action. Place your hand over your chest, take a deep breath for 5 seconds and whisper, "I'm in control of my energy." Feel your body returning to you in this exact moment and remind yourself. You are no longer watching this video as a spectator. You are stepping in as a warrior preparing for a ritual of training. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Today, you will learn how to become free, not free from the world, but free from the weakness within you. If you are ready to step into the 1% path, the people who choose discipline instead of comfort, stillness instead of chaos, inner strength instead of chasing what is outside, then let this be your opening vow. Drop this in the comments. I protect my energy. 2. Building the foundation of mental power, set aside all the comforting motivational words for now. Before entering the 7 rules, you must understand a fundamental truth. Your energy is not just a wave of emotion that comes and goes. It is the operating system of your entire life. If your mind leaks energy, every important goal becomes heavy and difficult to reach. The Stoic philosophers saw this thousands of years ago, long before neuroscience and long before dopamine or cortisol charts. They already understood that the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. That is why we must look at our energy through a more serious and responsible lens. Stoics see energy as the root of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Normal people believe their bad mood comes from circumstances. Stoics understand their bad mood comes from letting their mind run without discipline. Seneca also said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." You are not exhausted because of what happened today. You are exhausted because of the endless negative scenarios you build inside your own head, the imaginary conversations, the words no one said but you already interpreted, the situations that have not happened but you live as if they already did. Your energy is drained by negative imagination, not by reality. Science proves the mind is the starting point of all exhaustion. Neuroscience shows every time you switch tasks, your brain needs several minutes to return to deep focus. The habit of constantly checking your phone increases cortisol levels, making you more stressed and low energy. The brain prioritizes negative signals over positive ones. That is why drama, bad news, and arguments easily take over your mental bandwidth. When your brain must process too many small stimuli throughout the day, you feel tired even when you have not accomplished anything meaningful yet. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Science calls this self-regulation. Stoics call this self-mastery. No matter what you call it, the meaning is the same. If you do not master what's inside, you will always be pulled by what is outside. The modern world is a machine designed to drain your attention. Today, every app is built to take your attention. Notifications make your dopamine spike and crash nonstop. Every unconscious scroll wears down a little more of your energy. A small argument online can keep you awake all night. You think you are just watching for fun, but your brain does not make that distinction. It only knows that you're taking in too much stimulation, and it must burn energy to process it. That is why so many people feel exhausted even when they are not busy. Micro action. Take back 1% of your control. Before entering the 7 major rules, you need a small action that creates a strong impact. Here's your micro action right now. Go to your phone settings. Turn off every notification that is not related to family, health, or essential work. Let your phone do its actual job, not steal your attention. This simple action sends a clear message to your mind. From now on, I choose what enters my head. Stoics call this guarding the gate of the mind. Science calls this reducing stimulation load. No matter the name, you have just performed the first ritual of a warrior, blocking the arrows before learning how to fight. From knowledge to identity, this video is not entertainment, it is a ritual, a foundational shift in how you face yourself. You can watch it casually, or you can watch it as a dividing line. Starting today, you no longer live the way of I am pushed by circumstances. You shift into the way of I take responsibility for every unit of my energy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you think and do." If today were the last day you had the strength to change, would you really want your energy to be wasted on small, meaningless things like it is now? Prepare to enter the 7 ruthless rules. Next, we will go through each rule, not just advice, but an identity test. Do you want to be someone who knows about Stoicism or someone who lives it? If you are ready to step into the path of mastering your energy, let this be your vow before you open. Rule 1, comment. I master my mind. Rule 1, cut off the people who drain your energy. There is a truth most of us do not dare to face. Your energy does not disappear because of heavy work. It does not disappear because of big responsibilities. And it does not disappear because of meaningful challenges. Your energy is drained the fastest, the most quietly, and the most destructively by the people you allow into your life without boundaries. There are people who make you stronger, but there are also people whose mere presence throws your inner balance off. And you know that. You can feel that. But you are afraid to admit it. Look directly at this pain. You finish talking to them, and your spirit crashes with no brakes. You pretend you are fine, but inside you just want to get away as fast as possible. You know that call brings you nothing good, but out of politeness, out of fear of upsetting them, you keep picking up. And after every one of those interactions, you are exhausted, you lose your focus, and you lose the sharpness that is naturally yours. Even worse, you start doubting yourself. You ask yourself, why do I always feel tired when I'm around them? Am I just too sensitive? Is it my fault? No, it is not your fault. The problem is that you have not set boundaries. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your mind is colored by the people you are around. If they are negative, sooner or later, you are pulled into negativity. If they constantly complain, you slowly lose your positive expectations for yourself. If they look at life with chronic doubt and cynicism, you lose your drive to take action. Energy drainers do not need to do anything extreme. They only need to stay around long enough to knock your mind off its natural orbit. Think about it. How many times have you woken up ready for a great day with a clear mind and strong energy, and then just one complaint from someone, one negative comment from them, or one little piece of drama they drag you into, and your whole day collapses? Your energy does not lose to difficulty. It loses to small distractions and bits of negativity that you allow to slip in. Seneca warned about this more than 2,000 years ago. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Walk with people who make you stronger, not with people who pull you down while you are still trying to hold on to them in your life. The modern world only makes this problem clearer. You can avoid the rain, avoid the sun, avoid loud noises, but you do not avoid the people who drain your mind. You call it politeness. But in reality, it is an act of betraying yourself. One person with toxic energy can cost you 2 hours of mental recovery, sometimes an entire day. A single message from them can change your mood. One sarcastic comment can keep you overthinking to the point you cannot get anything done. You can tell yourself, it is nothing, but your body responds differently. Your heart rate rises, your breathing becomes shallow, your ability to focus drops, your clarity disappears. You need to understand this. When you do not set boundaries, you are giving other people the right to invade your personal energy field. Stoic individuals never live like that. Epictetus said, "Keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Stay close to people who bring out the best in you, and step away from people who make you lose yourself." But the real question is, why are you not willing to cut them off? Why are you still holding on to them? Why do you allow meaningless conversations to take over your time and your mind? The answer is simple. You are afraid of being misunderstood. You are afraid they will feel hurt. You are afraid they will judge you. You are afraid people will think you are cold. But ask yourself a more important question. Who is going to take responsibility for your life? Them or you? Who is going to live with the negative energy that you absorb every day? Them or you? No one can carry that burden for you, and that is why you must take this rule seriously. Here is your micro action right now. Write down the names of 3 people who leave you drained every time you interact with them. No judgment, no blaming, just write. Then, for the next 7 days, cut your contact time with them by 50%. Fewer messages, fewer calls, less instant replying. You are not cutting them off completely in one move. You are simply taking back some of the access they have to your mind. You will notice a clear difference, not because they disappear, but because you are reclaiming a part of your energy that belongs to you, a part of your energy that you have been giving away too easily for many years, a part of your energy that you need in order to become sharper, calmer, and clearer, a part of your energy that you need to pursue your long-term goals. Look at modern life. One negative person can knock your trajectory off course faster than a failure can, because failure teaches you a lesson, but a negative person just drags you deeper into bad emotions without giving you anything to learn. You can be strong, but you are not invincible. No one can withstand constant mental erosion day after day. Even the strongest person will eventually fall if they surround themselves with the wrong sources of energy. And here is the rhetorical question you must answer for yourself. Are you willing to save yourself before you try to save anyone else? To close Rule 1, you need a clear vow, not for others to see, but for you to hear your own decision. Leave a comment. I protect my geese. Rule 2, emotional discipline. Do not react too fast. There is a kind of power most people in this era do not possess, but it decides how you use your energy, how you face challenges, and how you keep your peace in a world that constantly provokes you. That power is the ability to control your emotional reactions. Not control your emotions themselves, that's impossible. Emotions are born from instinct, but controlling your reaction is completely up to you. And that is what creates the line between people who are dragged around by life and people who decide their own direction. Look back at yourself recently. How many times have you lost your calm over just one sentence? How many times have you replied too quickly only to feel regret later because you reacted in the wrong way? How many times have you let someone else's attitude derail a day that could have been very good? You can work hard, you can be disciplined, but if you lose control of your emotions for one brief moment, you can ruin an entire day or even damage the image you have built in the eyes of others. Epictetus once said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Anyone who can make you angry holds power over you, not because they're stronger, but because you hand your reaction to them too easily. When you lose your temper, you lose control of yourself. And when you lose control, your energy slips away like water between your fingers. In modern society, you are pushed to react instantly. Messages must be answered right away. Emails must be replied to quickly. Social media makes emotions flare up and explode in seconds, but strong people do not live that way. They do not let the speed of the outside world dictate the clarity of their inner world. They do not just react, they respond. They do not get pulled down to someone else's low energy level. They hold their own standard. Reaction is instinct, response is a choice. Reaction makes you dependent on the other person's emotion. Response helps you keep the steering wheel in your own hands. Think of a recent situation. You were focused and someone sent you a frustrating message. You did not even pause to think. You started typing back immediately. After just a few lines, the atmosphere became heavy. You thought you were defending your point, but in reality, you let your emotion drive your actions. You lost your focus, you lost your sharpness, and most importantly, you lost yourself in that moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind. Realize this and you will find strength." Your strength is not in how sharply you talk back to others. Your strength is in not letting them decide your mood. Modern science confirms this. Emotions surge the strongest. In the first 90 seconds, if you stay silent, breathe deeply, and do not respond right away, the emotion naturally goes down. If you react immediately, you trigger a chain of stress that sends your mind into a downward spiral. At that point, you are no longer guiding your nervous system. You are just riding the wave of emotion. You do not lose because of emotion itself. You lose because you let emotion act in your place. Society has programmed you this way. Constant notifications train you to respond instantly. Apps are designed to provoke your feelings as quickly as possible. You are pushed into a state where you must decide immediately, answer immediately, react immediately. But Stoic individuals do not move at the pace of the world. They create their own rhythm. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free. Courage is freedom. And you are only truly free when you are not led around by your emotions." Let us look at a simple example. You are working steadily. A small complaint appears. You instantly grab your phone, type a few annoyed lines, and then your mind keeps spinning. Your focus is broken. You need at least 20 minutes to get back to your original state. 1 second of reaction, a very expensive price. You pay with your time, your energy, and even your confidence. How many times in 1 week do you let something small ruin your state of mind? How many times do you let people control your emotions even though they do not deserve that power? How many times do you lose an entire morning because of one sentence that did not deserve your attention? This is the moment you must apply this Stoic rule with full seriousness. Here's the action to take right now. For the next 7 days, whenever a strong emotion appears, stop your reaction immediately. Take a deep breath for 10 seconds. Look at the situation as if you were an observer, not a victim being attacked. If you need to reply, wait until you feel your rational mind has returned. Even if it is only 1 minute, it is already a sign that you're taking back control. You will notice a clear change, not because others change, but because you hinge. And when you change, you stop falling into the emotional traps of other people. When you create a pause before acting, you become clearer. You see more easily what truly deserves a response and what does not deserve even 1 second of your energy. You are no longer pulled into meaningless stories. You become the person who chooses how to respond instead of the person who is forced to react. The question you need to ask yourself right now is this: if you are not in control of your reactions, who is in control for you? When you are calm, you are the one deciding. When you are in a hurry, emotion is deciding for you. And are you willing to let that continue for even 1 more day? This rule does not only help you become less hot-tempered, it helps you reclaim your inner freedom, the freedom you have been losing. Without noticing, if you truly want to become the person who controls emotion instead of being swept away by it, let this sentence mark the beginning of your new chapter. Leave a comment. I control my reactions. Rule 3. Protect your morning like sacred ground. There is a truth very few people recognize. The way you start your morning sets the energy trajectory for your entire day. It is not because there's anything mystical about the morning, but because that is the time when your mind has not yet been pulled, not yet been influenced by the world, and not yet scattered by endless waves of stimulation. Morning is the rare moment when you have full ownership, but most people throw away that ownership the second they open their eyes. You open your eyes, grab your phone, and let notifications, news, and drama pull your mind away before you even know what you want for yourself. You are not fully awake yet, but you are already forced to absorb a dozen different streams of information. You have not taken a deep breath, but you are already reading other people's judgments, complaints, and show-offs. You have not organized your first thoughts of the day, but you are already drowning in chaos. Then you wonder why you feel tired all day, why you are easily irritated, why you have trouble focusing, and why you do not feel peaceful anymore. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive." He was not only talking about gratitude, he was reminding you that morning is when you set the foundation for the entire day. A warrior never begins the day in chaos. A warrior begins with clarity, focus, and intention. Look at modern reality. People today do not lose because they have too much work. They lose because their mornings are stolen. The phone is the first thing that invades the sacred ground of the day, and it does this quietly, every day, little by little. Just 5 minutes of unconscious scrolling in the morning, and your brain is already locked into reaction mode. You are no longer operating from intention. You are simply chasing whatever appears on the screen. The human brain has a mechanism that has been clearly shown. The first information you take in each day becomes the mental center of gravity for that day. If you wake up to the sound of notifications, your brain will prioritize reacting. If you start with social media, you will compare and feel scattered. If you start with negative news, you will carry unnecessary tension all day. And if you start with work emails, your mind will be pulled into other people's demands before you have taken care of yourself. Morning energy is an extremely precious resource, and most people waste it instantly. Think back to a recent morning when you did not touch your phone during the first 30 minutes. You felt different, your mind was lighter, your body was more at ease. You had space to think about what you needed to do, not what other people needed from you. You felt a sense of ownership, and that energy followed you through the rest of the day. Now think of a morning when you grabbed your phone right after opening your eyes. After just one or two scrolls, your mind was already in chaos. You were pulled into someone else's story. You became upset just because you read a random opinion. You carried that mood into your work. You dragged it into lunchtime. You ended the day not even understanding why you were so drained. Seneca once warned, "Life is long if you know how to use it." In this age of information, that sentence is even more accurate. Your life may be long, but your energy each day is short. If you waste your morning, you will spend the rest of the day paying for that waste. Morning is the foundation of self-mastery. If you let other people control your mind, the moment you wake up, you have almost no chance of controlling the rest of your day. Look at the behavior of truly strong people. They do not touch their phone before they touch themselves, their breath, and their own thoughts. They do not read anything from the outside before they check what is happening on the inside. They do not give anyone the right to plant emotions in their mind before they are ready. Ordinary people wake up and chase life. Stoic people wake up and lead life. You must choose which group you want to belong to. Science also shows that starting the day with electronic devices significantly reduces your ability to focus. Every time you open your phone in the morning, you trigger your dopamine loop, which makes your brain constantly search for short-term rewards. This makes it much harder to begin tasks that require patience and persistence. In contrast, a morning that is not hijacked by devices allows your brain to stay in a more stable state, to enter deep work more easily, and to sustain energy for longer. You must understand this. No one will protect your morning except you. No one will take responsibility for your energy except you. No one will guard the sacred ground at the start of your day except you. The question you need to ask yourself is this: why are you letting the world step into your mind before you step into yourself? This rule is not only about avoiding your phone, it is about respecting yourself. Respecting your mind, respecting your energy, respecting your peace. Morning is a reminder that you have the power to choose how you begin, and the way you begin determines more than you think. You may believe the first 30 minutes of your day are not important, but you have already seen the damage of letting those minutes be stolen. Now you will see the result of taking them back. Here is the action you can start right now. For the next 7 days, do not use social media during the first 30 minutes of your day. Let your body wake up naturally. Let your mind have time to arrange its first thoughts. Write down 3 things: how you are feeling, what you want from this day, and what you will refuse to let control you. Start from intention, not reaction. When you do this, you will feel something very clearly. You do not only gain more energy, you gain more clarity. You understand yourself better. You hear your inner voice instead of being drowned in outside noise. And you will realize that morning is not just a period of time. It is a ritual for people who want to live with direction, a ritual for people who want to be strong from the inside out, a ritual for people who refuse to let the world walk in before they have fully arrived in themselves. Before we move on to Rule 4, you need a commitment. Let this sentence be your reminder every time you open your eyes. Leave a comment. I own my morning. Rule 4, do not run from pain, turn it into power. There is a major mistake that people in the modern world keep making. They believe that an ideal life is a life without pain. pain. They think happiness means never facing hardship, never feeling pressure, and never dealing with disappointment. That false belief makes them weaker every single day. They run away from uncomfortable emotions, avoid challenges, and refuse to face the truth. But you cannot build strength and comfort. You cannot grow if everything is easy, and you cannot become a better version of yourself if you constantly run away from what hurts. Look directly at what you usually avoid. You avoid the feeling of failure. You avoid the judgmental looks of other people. You avoid difficult tasks because you fear the result will not match your expectations. You avoid loneliness by staying in relationships that are not right for you. You avoid change because you know it'll hurt. You avoid starting over even though you know the old path no longer leads where you want to go. The truth is this: the more you avoid pain, the weaker you become. The more you dodge challenges, the easier it is for life to knock you down. The more you cling to comfort, the more you lose your inner strength. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Hardship strengthens the mind the way physical work strengthens the body. Muscles do not grow when you lie down and rest. They grow when you put them under pressure. Your mind works the same way. Stoic individuals do not seek an easy life. They seek a meaningful life. And anything meaningful contains pain inside it. Look at your own life. The times you became stronger were never the easiest times. No one becomes resilient from pure joy. No one becomes sharp from smooth sailing. No one becomes a better self when everything goes exactly as planned. You become better after the failures that kept you awake at night. You become more aware after the mistakes that cost you something important. You understand yourself more after the relationships that did not work out. You become more disciplined after the times you felt completely lost. You become more courageous after the moments when life treated you harshly. Every piece of strength you have today came from pain you once wanted to avoid. So why do we run from pain? Because it is uncomfortable. Because it forces you to face the truth about yourself. Because it exposes the weaknesses you do not want to see. But that is exactly why pain matters. It does not show up to destroy you. It shows up to point out what you need to change. Look at a simple real-life example. Someone wants a healthy body but always avoids working out because they are afraid of feeling tired. Someone wants a better career but always chooses the easiest tasks. Someone wants confidence but avoids every situation where they could feel embarrassed. Someone wants peace but does not dare to cut off the relationship that hurts them. The result is that they are not healthy, they are not progressing, they are not confident, and they are not peaceful. They are stuck between what they want and what they fear. That's one of the most dangerous loops in life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What blocks you is exactly the path you need to walk. Pain is not the thing that stops you. It is the sign that shows you the direction. Think back to a time when you overcame something difficult. In that moment, you were shaking, you were anxious, you doubted yourself. But after you got through it, you felt different. You felt like you gained an extra layer of mental armor. You felt stronger. You looked at future challenges through different eyes. You were no longer the same person. That pain changed you. It did not take anything away from you. It gave you strength you did not have before. When you run away from pain, you are also running away from your strongest self. Stoic people look at pain in a very simple way. Pain is a teacher. Pressure is a test. And every time you pass it, you level up. But the most important thing is this: you have to step into it. You have to endure the discomfort. You have to learn how to breathe inside the pressure. No one can do that part for you. What pain are you running from right now? A conversation that really needs to be had? A goal you keep postponing because you are afraid to fail? A change you know you must make, but you do not yet have the courage to face? A hard choice that makes you feel uncertain? The question you need to answer is this: who do you want to be 1 year from now? The person who avoids or the person who faces things head on? If you want to become stronger, here is your micro action. Within the next 24 hours, do one thing you have been delaying simply because it makes you uncomfortable. It does not need to be big. It does not need to be perfect. You only need to pick something you fear and take the smallest possible step inside that fear. It might be a phone call, a single page of writing, one decision, one honest sentence, one action you have owed yourself for a long time. When you do that, you send a signal to yourself: I am not running anymore. After you send enough signals like that, you form a new identity, the person who faces pain instead of hiding from it. As strong people are not different from weak people in what they feel. They feel fear, anxiety, and insecurity just like everyone else, but they act in spite of those feelings. They do not wait for their emotions to change. They create change through action. You must decide, do you want short-term comfort or long-term strength? Do you want to blend in with the crowd that avoids or stand with the few who know that pain is the stepping stone to growth? Do you want to hold on to comfort today, or do you want a future that makes you proud? The answer is hidden in what you choose to do right after you hear this rule. And to mark the moment you begin the journey of facing instead of fleeing, make this vow to yourself. Leave a comment. Pain makes me stronger. Rule 5, turn down the noise, protect the stillness of your mind. There is a kind of exhaustion many people are suffering from, but do not know how to name. They think they are too busy, under too much pressure, with too many things to worry about. But the real reason is not that there is too much work. The real reason is that their mind does not get a single minute of rest. Every waking second is flooded with noise. Noise from social media, noise from messages, noise from notifications, noise from stories other people pour into their head, noise from comparison, from anxiety, from emotions that are constantly being triggered. Then they wonder why they always feel drained even when they are just sitting still. There is nothing strange about it. If your mind has no space to breathe, it cannot function normally. You cannot be clear if you never have a moment to hear yourself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul. There is no place quieter than your own inner world." But the problem of this era is that you no longer hear that inner world, not because it is weak, but because the noise is too loud. Look at what actually happens. You open your eyes and see a flood of notifications. You eat breakfast while consuming negative news. You are working, but your mind is running after stories on the internet. You want to focus, but your attention is pulled in 10 different directions. You say you do not have time to think, but the truth is, you do not have space to think. The truth is this: your mind is not tired because it thinks too much. It is tired because it never gets to complete a single thought. The modern world is designed to break your inner silence. Apps are built to capture your attention. News is optimized to trigger strong emotions. Short videos train your brain to expect constant stimulation. The result is that you lose the ability to simply be alone with your own thoughts. Add a simple example. Just 1 minute of silence makes you uncomfortable. You feel the need to play music, play a video, open social media, open anything to fill the gap. But that empty space is exactly where your mind recovers. That empty space is where ideas appear. That empty space is where you reconnect with yourself, and you are killing it. Seneca wrote, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." People lose today because they are always worrying about tomorrow. In this age, they also lose themselves because they are drowned in noise every day. Noise makes you weaker because it keeps your mind constantly occupied. When your mind is full of mental trash, there is no room left for clarity. When your head is crowded with signals, there is no space left for focus. When you are always reacting to the world, you lose the ability to listen to your inner voice. You are not exhausted because of your work. You are exhausted because your mind has no refuge. You must understand this. No one will hand you silence. You have to create it, and you must protect it as if you were protecting sacred ground. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you sat still for 10 minutes without touching your phone? When was the last time you let your brain truly rest? When was the last time you actually heard your own breathing? Or have you been so submerged in noise that you no longer remember what real stillness feels like? Science shows that the brain needs quiet phases to restructure information, remove unnecessary signals, restore focus, and regenerate positive emotions. If your mind never stops, it cannot repair itself. You become like a person who never enters deep sleep, always tired, always low on energy, always mentally scrambled. The most dangerous part is this: noise makes you lose the ability to listen to yourself. You can no longer tell the difference between what you truly want and what others want you to want. You no longer know what actually brings you peace. You do not know where you are going. You are just running along with a current of sounds, images, and emotions crashing into you. Stoic thinkers see stillness
as the foundation of strength. Without stillness, you cannot observe. Without observation, you cannot understand. Without understanding, you cannot direct anything. Stillness is not weakness. It is preparation. It is the base that allows you to respond instead of react. It is the place where a warrior recovers before returning to the battlefield. Picture this. A warrior before battle does not run around in panic. He sits still. He breathes. He listens to his body. He prepares his mind. His stillness is not avoidance. It is focus. But modern people no longer have this moment. They walk into each day with scattered thoughts and chaotic emotions. No warrior can stay strong that way. So what should you do? Here's your micro action, a simple step with powerful impact. Every day, give yourself at least 20 minutes with no sound, no devices, no people, and no stimulation. Only you, your breath, and your mind. This does not have to be formal meditation or any complicated technique. Just sit still and allow the mental dust to settle. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. You will notice your head is even louder than usual. That does not mean you're not suited for stillness. It means your mind has been so used to noise that it forgot how to stand still. But when you get through that first uncomfortable phase, you will feel a deep shift. You will see more clearly what really matters. You will handle emotions more easily. You will be less triggered by small things. You'll hear a voice you lost a long time ago. And when you own stillness, you become unshakable. The noise outside is still there, but it cannot reach you because you have a refuge no one else can see. The important question you must ask yourself is this: are you living in your own awareness or in the chaos of the world? If you want to reclaim the sacred ground inside your mind, you must start with stillness. Not stillness because you were hiding, but stillness because you were preparing to become stronger. Before we move on to Rule 6, make a vow to mark the moment you begin to protect your inner world. Leave a comment. Silence is my power. Rule 6, stop explaining yourself. Live through action, not words. There is an invisible burden that many people carry for years, the burden of having to explain everything about themselves. Explaining why they chose this, explaining why they refused that, explaining why they changed, explaining why they need distance, explaining why they stopped, explaining why they want to live differently. Every time you do that, you put yourself in a passive position, in the position of someone asking for permission to live their own life. How many times have you tried to explain everything just so others would understand you? How many times have you felt guilty because you could not meet someone's expectations? How many times have you explained yourself until you were exhausted, then no longer knew whether you were doing it for them or because you were afraid of being judged? You can be capable, sincere, and kind, but if you constantly explain yourself, you will lose your mental autonomy. You allow others to define you instead of defining yourself. Epictetus stated it very clearly. Do not explain your philosophy, embody it. Do not explain your philosophy, live it. Do not try to prove yourself to others. Let your results speak for you. The problem in the modern world is that people are too easily dragged into the cycle of having to explain. You share an idea, someone disagrees, you explain, you set a goal, someone doubts you, you explain, you change your lifestyle, someone does not like it, you explain, and you keep pouring your precious energy into conversations that do not move your life forward. The truth is this: people who truly understand you do not need long explanations. People who do not understand you will not be convinced no matter how much you explain, but you keep doing it not because you want to, but because you are used to living in defense mode. You want to please people. You do not want to be judged unfairly. You do not want to be misunderstood, but you need to look directly at this. No one lives your life for you. No one pays the price for your choices except you. No one bears your consequences. So why do you keep asking for permission? Why do you need other people's approval to be yourself? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be indifferent to what makes no difference. Be indifferent to what does not make a real difference. The opinions of people who do not live your life do not make a difference. Judgments that are not based on real understanding do not make a difference. Gossip that does not contribute to your growth definitely does not make a difference. Yet you put too much weight on all of that." Look at a very familiar example
from real life. You decide to focus on your career. Someone says you're too ambitious. You explain you want to build a disciplined lifestyle. Someone says you're too rigid. You explain. You choose to cut off relationships that are not right for you. Someone says you're cold. You explain again. You want more quiet. Someone says you are distant. You keep explaining. Each time you do that, you surrender a piece of your energy. You give others the power to influence your direction. You let them step into the energy field you are trying to protect. Stoic individuals do not live that way. They do what is right, not what is easy. They act according to their inner compass, not the noise of the crowd. They do not try to convince. They let time prove everything. You must understand this. Explaining does not earn you respect. Results earn you respect. Consistency earns you respect. Silence at the right moment earns you respect. Someone who talks a lot about their goals is never more trustworthy than someone who quietly works on them. Someone who explains themselves too much is often someone who does not fully trust themselves yet. Someone who keeps trying to prove that they are right is often someone who is secretly afraid they are wrong. You do not need explanations in order to be accepted. You need to live in alignment in order to be strong. Seneca wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power. The strongest person is the one who has power over himself. No one is truly in control when they are still dependent on other people's approval." Look back at yourself. How much energy have you wasted on explanations that were not necessary? How much time has been pulled out of your life because you tried to justify yourself to people who did not genuinely care? How many important decisions have you delayed simply because you were afraid someone might judge you? How many times did you want to say no, but instead said, "Let me think about it," because you did not want to disappoint anyone? This is the moment you must change. Here is your micro action. Within the next 24 hours, choose one situation in which you would normally over-explain and do not. No excuses, no long-winded reasoning, no defensive speech. Say one simple, clear, firm sentence. If someone asks why you're doing that, answer, "Because this is what feels right for me," and stop there. At first, it will feel strange. You will feel unsafe. You will feel as if you are doing something wrong, but that is only because you have spent more time living according to other people's feelings than living according to your own. When you stay with this practice, you will feel a new kind of strength flowing into you, not the strength of ego, the strength of self-mastery. You become less easily influenced. You become less confused. You become less dependent. You start acting from your inner compass. There will be a special moment. You will realize that not needing to explain is freedom. You no longer carry extra weight. You no longer have to twist yourself to please someone. You no longer have to prove that you are enough. You simply live correctly for you, and that is enough. People who live in alignment do not need many explanations. People who live out of alignment are the ones who feel the need to explain. The question you must face is this: are you living to be understood or living to be true to yourself? Choose what is right, not what sounds nice. Choose your path, not the path others want for you. Choose powerful silence over weak explanations. And to mark the moment you truly step into a life of self-ownership, make this vow. Leave a comment. I speak through actions. Rule 7. Choose a worthy goal to serve. The North Star of a Stoic. There is a reason so many people feel lost, exhausted, unmotivated, and easily pulled around by the world. They do not know where they are going. It is not because they are stupid or lack willpower. It is because they do not have a clear goal to serve every day. Without a destination, every road becomes tiring. Without a direction, every difficulty feels heavy. Without meaning, every effort starts to feel pointless. Human beings are not tired because they work too much. Human beings are tired because they work without knowing why they are working. Human beings are not disappointed because they move slowly. Human beings are disappointed because they do not know whether they are moving in the right direction. Seneca once wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. If a person does not know which harbor he is sailing to, no wind will ever be a favorable wind." The sentence is simple, but it is true in every era. You can have discipline, willpower, and motivation. But if you have no direction, all of that only makes you run faster into a dead end. Look at the pain you might be living with right now. You wake up and do not know what you're fighting for today. You try hard, but your effort does not feel connected to anything bigger. You are easily distracted because nothing feels important enough to pull you back. You give up easily because you do not have a strong enough reason to keep going. You are easily influenced by what others say because you do not have an inner compass guiding you. You avoid challenges because you do not understand why you should endure them. All of that comes from one cause. You do not have your North Star. Stoic individuals do not live according to daily mood. They live according to long-term purpose. That purpose pulls them out of bed. That purpose helps them endure pain. That purpose keeps them standing when life is cruel. That purpose allows them to win against themselves. Look at modern life. You have thousands of things you could chase, but you do not know which one is truly yours. You have thousands of small goals, but no big one. You constantly change direction because each direction only motivates you for a few days. You set too many goals at once, then fail because none of them has a strong enough reason to carry you through to the end. Strong people do not do many things. They do one thing very well. They choose one thing to serve, one thing to pour their energy into, one thing to become excellent at, to really understand the power of a single goal. Look at this example. There are two people who both want to improve their life. The first person changes all the time. Today, he goes to the gym. Tomorrow, he reads books. The next day, he starts a business. As soon as he begins to build a new habit, he switches to something else. He is genuinely trying, but his effort is spread thin, without direction, without focus. And the second person chooses one single goal for the next 90 days. For example, improving his physical health. Every habit, every action, every choice revolves around that goal. When he is tired, the goal pulls him up. When he wants to quit, the goal pushes him forward. When others shake his confidence, the goal keeps him steady. The result? He improves by more than 100%, even though he spends less time and energy than the first person. It is not that the second person is more talented. He is just more clear, and clarity is power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Stop drifting, pilot your own mind. You cannot direct your life if you cannot direct your course, and you cannot have a course if you do not choose a goal." Look deeply into yourself. What are you chasing? What are you living for? What are you fighting for? If the answer is not clear, it means your goal is not strong enough to lead you. Having no goal is not a neutral state. It is a dangerous state, because when you do not know where you are going, you will follow anyone. You will be pulled by emotions, pulled by other people's words, pulled by comparison, pulled by fear, pulled by self-doubt. A person without a goal is like a boat without a compass. Every wave can knock it off course. Every wind can blow it far away. Every small change makes it unstable. You cannot live strongly if your life runs like that. So, how do you choose a worthy goal? Here's the Stoic principle. Choose something that makes you better, not something that only makes you more comfortable. Choose something that pulls you upward, not something that keeps you exactly where you are. Choose something you are willing to pay for with focus, time, and effort. Choose something you would feel proud of if you achieved it. Choose something hard enough that it forces you to train every day. A worthy goal is not something you do to impress other people. It is something you want to remind yourself of every morning when you wake up. Answer this honestly. If you could choose only one thing to change in the next 90 days, what would you choose? Your body, your finances, your discipline, your career, your knowledge, your inner stillness, a personal project, a skill you have always wanted to learn, or a better version of yourself? There is no right or wrong answer. There is only a truthful or untruthful answer. Once you choose your goal, your life changes immediately. You have direction. You have a reason to say no to what does not matter. You have focus. You have natural motivation. You are no longer pulled around by everything. You become the person who decides the trajectory of your own energy. Here's your micro action. Today, write down one single goal for the next 90 days. Only one. Write it as a short, strong affirmation sentence, then write down 3 simple actions you can do every day to move closer to that goal. Finally, Erase the extra goals, the unnecessary goals, the goals that only distract you. You do not need 10 directions, you only need one. Remember, a person who walks one step every day will go much farther than a person who runs and stops over and over again. Many people do not fail because they lack ability, but because they have too many goals and too little commitment. A warrior does not carry 10 spears. He carries one spear and uses it with his full strength. The final question you must ask yourself is this: do you choose to live like a wanderer or like someone with a clear direction? Do you want to be stronger or just busier? Do you want to live by accident or live on purpose? To mark the moment you choose a direction for yourself, make this vow, leave a comment. I walk with purpose. Identity, transformation, stepping through the threshold
Of the 1% warriors. By this moment, you are no longer just someone who sits and listens to inspirational content. You have gone through the pain in Rule 1. You have learned how to stay calm in Rule 2. You have
protected your morning in Rule 3. You have faced pain and turned it into strength in Rule 4. You have reclaimed stillness in Rule 5. You have cut off the need to explain yourself in Rule 6. And you have chosen a worthy goal to serve in Rule 7. All of that is no longer just information. It is a ritual of transformation. It is a journey that takes you out of the crowd. The crowd wants comfort. You choose discipline. The crowd wants to avoid pain. You choose to face it. The crowd reacts blindly. You choose intentional responses. The crowd lives in chaos. You choose stillness. The crowd changes according to emotion. You change according to purpose. The crowd longs to be accepted by others. You choose to accept yourself. This is the moment you must face the truth. You no longer belong to the other 99%, not because you are more perfect, not because you are more talented, but because you have chosen a way of life that most people do not dare to choose. There is an invisible line between ordinary people and strong people. That line is not in circumstances, it is not in starting points. It lies in the decision you make when you stand face to face with yourself. Ordinary people say, I will change when my circumstances change. Strong people say, I will change my circumstances by changing myself first. Ordinary people say, I cannot do it because I am afraid. Strong people say, I am afraid, but I will do it anyway. Ordinary people wait for motivation. Strong people create motivation with the first action. Ordinary people run from pain. Strong people turn pain into the path. Ordinary people wait for peace to appear. Strong people build peace with boundaries, discipline, and stillness. You must ask yourself this right now. If you have come this far, do you still want to live like the 99%? Do you still want to go back to the old way of living? Unconscious, reactive, scattered, running away and afraid? Do you still want to let the world decide your mind for you? Or do you want to become the one who leads your life? The one who stays awake in a noisy age? The one who stands firm when others shake? The one who remains still while others panic? The one who stays steady while others are distracted? The one who knows where he is going while others are lost? This is the moment of identity transformation. The moment you look in the mirror and say, I no longer live the way I used to live. I do not run away. I'm not controlled by my environment. I do not react from emotion alone. I do not live without purpose. I have chosen to become a warrior. A warrior is not a perfect person. A warrior is the person who gets back up every time he is knocked down. The one who keeps stillness in the middle of chaos. The one who accepts the price of becoming strong. The one who chooses to live by values, not by temporary feelings. The one who masters his energy and does not allow it to be stolen. You have reached the end of this piece of content, but this is not the end. This is the threshold, the place where only 1% dare to step through. If you are truly ready to become part of that 1%, make this vow to yourself. Leave a comment. I am unshakable. The final call for true warriors. If you are still here, it means you are no longer an ordinary viewer. You have gone through the full journey of the 7 Stoic rules. You have faced pain, protected your stillness, controlled your reactions, guarded your energy, and chosen a worthy goal to serve. You have passed the point where most people give up, but strength does not come from listening to content. Strength comes from letting it live inside you, from turning what you understand into what you do every single day. This video is not the end. It is an invitation to step into discipline, to step into change, to step into the strongest version of who you can become. If you want to keep yourself awake and steady, leave a mark, not for me, not for anyone else, for yourself, so that you never forget that from this moment on, you no longer live the way you used to live. Leave a vow in the comments. I am unshakable. Write it with conviction. Treat it like a ritual. Every time you return and read it, you will remember that you belong to the 1% who do not bend under life's pressure. If this message awakens something in you, tap the like button so the algorithm knows you want to see more powerful messages. Share this video with someone who needs inner strength. Maybe they will never say it out loud, but they may be searching for guidance. And if you want to keep training, keep sharpening yourself, keep living like a true Stoic warrior, subscribe to the channel. This is the place for people who do not seek comfort but seek growth, the place for people who want to master their energy instead of being dragged around by noise, the place for people who want to live with intention, not drift with circumstances. From now on, every video you watch here will be one more stone placed into the foundation of your inner strength. And if you continue, you will no longer just learn Stoic philosophy, you will live it. Remember this final truth. Transformation does not happen overnight, but it always begins with one decision, and you have just made that decision. You have chosen to step into the path of the 1%. Hold on to it, live by it, and keep training until you become a version of yourself that even you must respect. If you are ready, leave your final commitment in the comments. I am unshakable.